But basically, we started our own website. There's this kind of pre-Google called Angel Fire, where it was, you could DIY your own website. So we put it was a one-page website, the picture of the record, and a PayPal link. Buy it now. And despite all odds, we sold out of that record. And it was like, whoa, I'm onto something. So I saved all the money, all the profits from that first record, and I put out a second one. And then I put out a third one. And it was really cool, and that's why I decided to go to DePaul University for entrepreneurship. So I was like, well, I got the music thing down, and people seem to like it because we're packing shows. And I love taking art with Miss Minu, which was amazing. And now you have Alice Costas, who's a good friend of mine. And I was like, okay, I like ceramics, I like painting, this is cool. I used to go to Gallery 37, so I got the painting thing down. I'm gonna go to school for business because that's my missing link. That's like the one thing I didn't really learn in high school. I'd like to learn how to grow this record label so that I don't have to rely on this archaic corporate system. And sure enough, I had a really good experience there at DePaul University. I was kind of young when I graduated here, so it was cool to stay in the city of Chicago and go downtown. Like, that's what I wanted. And everybody's gonna have a different experience. Some people want to explore, you want to go to New York or LA or Champaign or whatever it is. You know, that's your choice. That's your independent choice. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. And you shouldn't let anybody. You can take their advice and say, oh yeah, I'll consider that. But truly, one day and now, you're going to be accountable for your actions. So it's like, in the future, you are going to be, hopefully, what you visualized. You know what I mean? So you want to make those independent decisions so that you're happy, or at least close to happy, or happy a lot of the time. Because, you know, other emotions come into play, inevitably. So let's see what we got here. Okay, explore what inspires you. Some examples. I just wanted to give you some actually specific examples on how to explore. Taking pre-college classes. You know, we talked about the AP thing, but you know, if you're interested in the arts or music, you might want to look at what classes are offered to high school students from Columbia College or summer programs from U of C, that kind of thing, because you'll very quickly discover what you like and what you don't like. So I took a recording class from Columbia when I was a sophomore here at Northside, and I was like, this is fun, I'm glad I know it, but it's not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm really happy I figured that out now. So, you know, those pre-college classes are a really good way to swim through the murky waters of careers. Follow up with people. So I mentioned the Orange Amps example where I went on their website, went on their contact page, said, hey, give me a free amp, put me in your advertisements, pay me that money. And you know, you don't initially hear back from them, so you follow up with them to make sure that they receive that first message. Because sometimes things get lost. You know, you go to the spam folder, someone's having a bad day, they press delete, they spill coffee on their keyboard, etc. So, follow up with people. Another example of following up with people is with the teachers at Northside and in your future colleges that you really, really like. Because those might be the people who write a recommendation letter for you that gets you like a big scholarship, which is what happened for me at DePaul. So, I wrote an essay about this entrepreneur guy. It was like half a page in his finals week, so I was like, no one else is going to write an extra essay. I know it. And I won $20,000. It's great. And I needed a recommendation letter very quickly, though. Where it was like, okay, this deadline's in like 3 days. Who can I reach out to write this? You know, and give me a positive review in this time frame. And sure enough, if you stay in touch with people, also your peers, people you really like, you know, one day you might be sitting next to somebody that you do business with in the future, like 15 years. Because you're all geniuses. You're all so smart here. You're all going to do really amazing things. So stay in touch. You know what I mean? SMART goals, set a goal, follow it, do it, that kind of thing. You get the idea. All right, here's the stuff we do, live performances, virtuals. Okay, read books, find an internship, interview experts. Basically, the interview experts thing, when I was in college, which you will be in some period of time, whether it's now or later, I interviewed this woman named Kristen Carter from Busy Beaver Button Company because I had to write a paper about entrepreneurship because I was going to school for entrepreneurship. And she was so impressed with my interview because I actually researched before I interviewed her, a little research thing. So instead of being like, when did you start your company? What buttons do you make? What size buttons are the most popular? I said, I read up on her. I'm like, okay, she started her company in 1995. They have 12 different button sizes. So what I would say is, all right, based on having 12 button sizes, what's the most challenging aspect of your job or running this button company? Or in 1995, what were some of your biggest projects that helped you start a business and actually generate money so that you could run it for 20 years? She said, you know what? I like your stuff. I'm gonna hire you. And then, after her being in business for 10 years, she hired me. So the day I graduated college, I was on an airplane to Europe to go tour Europe for the first time. And then the day after we finished it, a month and a half later, I came home and I started a full-time job at Busy Beaver Button Company as their operations manager. Let's see if I got a picture here. Buttons all the time. Here we are. So you might say, why is that guy sitting on a ladder? What are they holding? What is that thing? Lots of questions. Basically, we built it into $1 million company in 4 years. We're like, let's do this thing. Let's explore, research, and practice despite all odds. Which just meant that, when, for instance, when you have a competitor who's trying to bring you down, you're like, we're gonna keep going. When a water main bursts in your basement and destroys all your equipment, you're like, okay, we're gonna keep going. And just, going forth. Don't let things discourage you. I mean, if you end up in jail or something like that, they're like, okay, I won't do that again. But other things that are legal things that distract you from your path, don't let them discourage you. And, one day you might be running $1 million company, and that's really exciting. And then, again, you're still your own boss. I get to wake up whenever I want, which is never at 6:30 a.m., which I did today. But I chose to do this. And I'm very grateful to Northside College Prep for preparing me to be a free thinker, to be creative, really, nice things. These are nice things. So Busy Beaver Button Company, let's do it. Yeah! So we kind of touched on the persevere thing. It's like, if you're going to have challenges in your life, and some of them are going to be devastating if they haven't already happened. My best friend got killed when I was 19. It was the worst day of my life. I couldn't really, I completed college and I still got all A's. I was like, I'm going to stay in college because I need to be active in thinking. But my friend got violently killed and it was very, very sad for me. And it took me until I was 22 to get over it. With a lot of help from my friends and network and people that I follow up with frequently. So anyway, that's a persevering thing. You're gonna see things on different levels that might be scary or terrible, and you're going to get through it because you're going to persevere. You say, I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna do it. Despite all odds, I'm going to persevere for sure. And that is a very nice quality that is within all of you. And you will explore your limits of persevering throughout your life. And also, independent thinking, setting goals, all of those exciting things. And I wish you all very well as I look across all of your faces. You're all going to do such a good job. I'm already proud of you, and I haven't met you yet. So, create a blue ocean, that basically means that's the whole free thinking thing. there's this concept that I'll lay on you and I won't keep you much longer, but it's a business school concept that, for those of you who go, it's like one of these classic examples. It's called the blue ocean concept. Does anyone know what it is already? Anybody blue ocean? Any teachers? You probably didn't go to business school. Okay. So the blue ocean is this concept that if you are in a very crowded industry, okay, so let's use music as an example. There's a million different bands. Everybody wants to play Lollapalooza. Everyone wants to play Pitchfork Music Fest. Everyone wants to tour Europe or get on this label or do these things. And the concept of the blue ocean is that those hyper-competitive pools, this is so weird, but it turns the ocean red with the blood of competition, where like all these different fish are preying on each other, and a shark comes and he chomps on them, and then it's like red and it's really scary, and then you can't succeed and it's terrible. So the concept is to look for the crystal clear horizon that is beyond this super, super competitive world. So I said, do I want to be on Warner Brothers and be in this gross red competitive ocean and everyone's climbing over each other and they're biting each other and they're lying and doing terrible things and unethical things and paying off and all this different stuff? Or do I want to start my own record label and do whatever I want and at least experiment and see if it works and go to the crystal clear horizon that is the blue ocean? So that's kind of the concept, and school might feel a little bit of a red ocean. So you might want to think about, well, what can I do in my personal life that interests me that can help me reach to the crystal clear blue waters? And then you persevere and everything's fine. I promise. Here we are on the float with Sir Richard Branson, eccentric billionaire, downtown. Brother and I made a movie. It's called That Was Awesome. Check it out online. The trailer's on YouTube. I'm on Instagram at White Mystery Band. Does anyone use Instagram? Is that? You guys all like Pokemon? I don't know anymore. You like Pokemon? Do you use Instagram yet? Do people still use Facebook? I don't even know. They do? Okay. Well, look for White Mystery on Facebook and follow my adventures around the world. Respect yourself, love your family, question authority, self-explanatory. I highly recommend it. And this is just a funny picture. I thought it would be an icebreaker. And the concept though here is that many times when you become a business owner or whatever, or when you go into your career, your target market will sometimes look a lot like you. Is the concept here. So that's my brother and me on the left, and our friend Fraser and Sarah in Seattle on the right. And you're like, whoa, this is crazy. You guys look just like us. And then we realized, well, when I was designing records and putting records out, what would I like? What do I want it to look like? What do I want it to sound like? For me, for Alex, my name, that's my name. And you kind of create something that's in your vision that you would like, and then you realize, wow, other people like it too. But sometimes you have to persevere for a while before you connect with those people. So don't be discouraged if in the first 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 years of doing something, you're like, oh, this isn't really sticking. What am I doing wrong? Sometimes you just have to keep going and you will eventually connect with the people who appreciate you. And you're all welcome to email me if you have any questions. The end. So, explore, research, persevere, despite all odds. I would love to take some questions, and if you ask me a question, I will give you a CD or a record or some buttons from this magical box. I also have